Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the sim, and welcome to the JPG Logistics Cessna 152, a collection of technically three different aircraft, two main airframes, and then fairings added to one of them. We have the conventional landing gear here, the tail dragger variant. There is also a tricycle gear variant. Operation on the aircraft in the air is going to be relatively similar. And I figured we'd take a look at the original configuration this aircraft came out in. So we're going to go ahead, hop inside, do our usual on the channel, take a look at textures first and foremost, hop inside of the airplane, take a listen to the sounds inside of the cockpit as well as the textures in there, get the aircraft started up, and then do a quick overfly over the Buffalo, Niagara area in New York, and then into Toronto, Pearson area. And then we'll close out with some closing thoughts. So without further ado, let's begin. So starting straight away with textures, I'm noticing my prop rotating in the wind. I have worked extensively with the Continental 0200, which is the motor that's in the Cessna 150 and 152. It ain't free spinning in the wind, I'll tell you that. Unless you've got the spark plugs pulled, it ain't free spinning in any way, shape, or form. But anyway, we'll gloss over that, start looking at textures. We're going to ignore the paint job for today. I'm more interested in the actual aircraft textures, so like the nice detail on these Phillips head screws here and the rivets, that sort of deal. You can see some nice weathering effects on the prop spinner as well. There is not a sample test we're going to be able to pass today, but you can see the nice starter onto the flywheel there, or starter belt rather, belt going from the starter to the flywheel. That's what I'm trying to say. Not a whole lot in terms of textures inside of the motor, which interestingly enough, maybe this JPG Logistics is using something other than the 0200, because this doesn't entirely look like an 0200 from the front, but could be mistaken. Got your single gigantic incandescent landing light there on the nose. This aircraft was, or seems to be, retrofitted with an LED package. At least from the way that the lights bloom. The fixtures themselves look to be incandescent. Some real nice detail on the main landing gear there. You can see the difference between the contrast rather between the securing bolts. Looks like we're missing one there, but the securing bolts, you got the valve stem there. Tires are also looking relatively nice, like the detail, the dirt inside of the treads. The brakes are okay. These are all the same material, at least visually, which they would not be on the real aircraft. I think you'd have a steel brake disc, probably an aluminum caliper maybe. And then this bracket's probably just going to be just some standard aluminum. Ones I worked on were this whole assembly here was alcladded actually, but not going to hold too much against them there. You can see the nice brake detail of the brake line going out to the brakes from the pylon there. Little quick cheeky underside view into the engine there. Some really nice bluing effects, a little bit too much bluing effects actually, but some nice bluing on the other side there. And then you've got your exhaust pipe, which you can see up into there, Inconel exhaust, as you would expect on most general aviation airplanes. Moving aft on the fuselage, let's take a look at the underside of the wing. Some real nice detail, especially when you get kind of up close. You can see the difference between the Phillips heads and the rivets. A little bit off kilter for the shadowing, but we'll let that go. We are at a funky angle. I think at a more direct angle they would look a little bit better. Clean, smooth looking leading edge coming out to the right hand side wing. You can see we do have a dual nav light setup as well as a strobe light. Very nice detail on the screw securing that. Trailing edge, we've got our static wicks as expected. Very, very nice detail on those static wicks. Love to see it. If we come to the underside of the aileron, let's deflect you upwards. And what can we see here? Can I see any of my securing pins? It doesn't look like it. I'm not seeing them. It's okay. It's a 150 after all. It's nothing too big to shake a stick at. Well, that was hard to get out. I do like the hinge action there. A little bit of smoking from the hinges. That's nice to see. On the top side. Obviously, you've got your twin VHF antennas as well as your fuel fillers. Really, really small fuel quantity on the 150. And down towards the cockpit, some nice crazing detail there. Back towards the empennage. And again, that real nice detail on the riveting continues. Little loop antenna down there. I'm not sure what that other antenna there is. Maybe an ELT or something. We get to the tail wheel. Really, really nice detail on the tail wheel. Love the detail on the securing nuts for the tail wheel. It does kind of fall apart on the other side on that main securing nut. I don't know what's going on there with that texture, but it's a little bit funky. Good detail on the castellated nut. Castellated nuts, actually. You'll probably have already noticed, but there's a little bit of a discrepancy between the tail wheel chains, the puller chains, and the actual spot where they would interact, but we'll let it go. I mean, even look at the, is that weld detail? No, it's not. It's just a reflection. But all in all, relatively good detail. If we come up into the rudder section of the aircraft, we'll swing left, and you can see as I actuate the elevator, you can see that ram there moving up and down. So good detail there. Oh, I think I broke it. That's okay. Oh, no, I didn't. Seems really gusty here in Buffalo. Little tie down, we'll take a quick look at that. Some really nice detail here, it looks like. Yeah, some real nice detail on the tie down for the tail section of the aircraft. So that is a quick look on the outside. We'll take a look and a listen to what's going on inside next. Okay, and here we are inside of the 150. First thing we'll do is we'll shut that door and we'll close the window. And you can immediately hear the wind sounds dying down. Open it back up and the wind resumes. Texture-wise, I definitely like the level of detail on all of the surfaces in the cockpit. And below the yoke, you can see some nice weathering there on the wooden stack. We'll throw on the panel lighting. Let you guys take a look at that. That all looks very, very nice. And then in addition to the current panel setup that we have, we can remove this tablet. So if we wanted to go full old style 152, we can do that. We can also, where are you? Instruments. There's a huge array of different options we can enable. So if we want to have, like I said, the full old stack up here, we can put a GTX 330 transponder on there. We can add an ADF radio if we wanted to. But it's 2023 who's flying with ADF, so we'll turn that off. We can put in some distance measuring equipment. I think that's that guy there on the top now. We can equip an autopilot down below. And if we want to get real fancy, we can put on the PMS GTN 750. This is the free version of the GTN 750. For a full glass panel experience, and then we can pair that as well if we wanted to with the tablet to really step into the modern world. You can see when you turn on the GTN 750, it moves your radios over to here. So in addition to that, we have the option to we can charge our battery, we can check the engine oil. This is a progressive maintenance aircraft, so there's a state save option. Thank you. Realism, show pilot, co-pilot. I'm going to leave show pilot off just because we clip through our own face quite a bit when the pilot is on, but we'll leave him on. Obviously, there's all of the different external engine covers and plugs and that sort of stuff, so if you wanted to have those on to do a pre-flight, you can. What else do we have? We went over settings, went over maintenance, went over instruments. That's about it. So we can add a co-pilot. Add some weight for them. And then you can also add baggage. So if you look in the rear area right now, there's just the tow bar. But if I add some baggage in the rear, you can see it adds some stuff. So now we got a box back there. I don't know everything that it adds, but 100 pounds of stuff. It's still just a box. Let's add some front baggage. Don't really know what they mean. Is that like the front area of the aircraft? It is. Now we've got some more. Is that a generator? I think that's a generator there. And then if we go down in weight, I think it'll change. Yeah, so now we've got some papers and a little skid. So dynamic cargo, we love to see that stuff. We are going to remove the weight for this flight though, because we're not really doing much anything. We'll add 15 pounds. Let's see if 15 pounds gets us just a little box, which is fine. It's 5 pounds to get us in the back. Just another little box. We'll fly with those little boxes. Fuel quantities, like I said, relatively small. I think it's a 13-gallon max. Yeah, 13 max per side. We're not going to use anywhere near that, so we'll probably do 8 per side. And you can see you've got your empty weight, your fuel max, your current payload versus your max, and your total takeoff weight. So we're just over 100 pounds under our max takeoff weight. There is a state saving, so you can select cold and dark or ready for flight. We're in a cold and dark state. I turned on the aircraft to get some systems on board. Nice ambient lighting from the panel there. Let's go to the charge battery option, and you can see we're charging up the battery now. And on our ammeter, it was in a heavy discharge state before, but now it's coming up. So let's shut off that overhead light, and let's prep for takeoff here. So we're going to turn on our main fuel, throw the mixture all the way in, throw on the park brake, going to prime. I think we'll do, is it 3 times or 5? Whatever. Go beacon and nav lights on, please. And then we'll crack our throttle, pull our mixture back just a little bit. This is how we started the 150 that we had. It was a cranky old girl. We do not have FS realistic or anything like that active right now, so this is just going to be the normal startup process for the aircraft. I'm going to shut up while we start and let you guys listen. It's a very, very good startup sound. Alright. I'm going to have to possibly figure this out off camera. Yeah, she's not starting. Okay. I'll be back. Okay, one quick check of the manual later. I think I got it here. So let's go halfway on the mixture, throttle in about 1 inch. And clear prop. There we go. Good catch. Alright, we're going to let the engine warm up a little bit. You can see we've got some oil temperature in it, good oil pressure. What is our outside air temp? We are right around the freezing threshold on the ground. So let's Throttle up a little bit. I'll come up to about 1300. Add some carb heat to come back to 1000. And another thing I like about this aircraft is the wavering of the engine. It doesn't stay static at all, which is exactly what I remember from my days running the Continental O200. It never stayed still. So I think we're good for oil temperature. We'll go ahead and taxi out here. Take a quick look outside at the lighting. Actually, we'll take a listen as well. You can see that nice heat blur coming from the motor. I've never seen that on general aviation engines, but it could be a possibility. Let's run up real quick. Looks like no wind buffet effects like we saw on the no wind buffet like we saw on the default Boeing, Bell 407. Obviously, we're going to have really good ground turning performance being in a tail drag configuration. Oh my Lanta. Why are we already taking off? What are the winds at Buffalo right now? Oh, it's whipping. Holy smokes. Okay. Okay, let's get a little back taxi in here. Strobe lights. Really nice lighting package. Yeah, and the winds are almost straight up and down the runway, so we'll get turned around a little bit here. We'll probably go down to those hold short lines, and then that should be more than enough room to take off, considering we were almost taking off just taxiing earlier. So alright, we'll get turned around here. Wind is really fighting me. Get nice and slow since we're in a tail dragger here and we don't want any ground looping of any kind, because I've never ground looped. Don't check the channel for proof. Okay, I've ground looped. Alright, we're going to pan out into the wind here. Obviously, this is not where you would actually do this sort of deal as on an active runway. We'll do a real quick run up. Yeah, she's just rearing to fly. Get carb heat off. It's just over 1800. We'll take it. Let's go left mag. There's our drop. Back to both. And right mag. Back to both. Good. Alright. I have had issues with the autopilot. I'm not sure what exactly is going on with it. Oh, I do have an altitude alert now. That's progress. Anyway, nonetheless, let's go fly. Oh my word. I wasn't ready to take off, but the airplane was. Okay. So I think it's a little bit windy over in Niagara Falls today. I guess I could have picked a better spot to trial this airplane out, but you know what? It handled it okay. Let's ditch that landing light. It's a little bit bright. All things considered, she handled it like a champ. Alright, so let's get Let's see if I can get that autopilot to work. Let's go on a nav hold. A vertical speed of 500 feet per minute. Autopilot is on. Look at that. How about that? And I want to go up to, I want to have an altitude alert of, I don't know. What are we at right now? Just over 1100. Let's do, nope, sorry, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. 2500. There we go. The aircraft does not seem to be correcting. So get a heading hold as a backup here. Good climb rate though. Let's add some of that carb heat back in. Yeah, and you can see we're just straight up Mr. Krabsing right now. But all in all, as far as handling goes, I think the aircraft is more than capable. I think we'll abandon our scheduled flight plan for today, ditch the autopilot, and we'll try some high wind touch and goes in the 152. But feeling wise, it's a great airplane. You know, you can be real docile with your controls. We'll come left real docilely, come right real docile. And certain variants of the 152 were actually made in an aerobatic variant, so you can be kind of aggressive with some of your inputs as well. If you want to. In fact, the 150 that I worked on was a A150L, and that the A stood for aerobatic. It was aerobatic certified for like spins and that sort of stuff. There are also working sun visors on this aircraft. Not that we're going to need them today, but you do have them if you would like, or if you need them. Alright, so now we're back over Buffalo. Let's get a little bit more altitude under our wings here, and then we'll shoot for a stall and see if we can induce a spin as well. And you can just see the crab rate at which our aircraft is flying to stay aloft. Alright, so we're in at 70 knots right now. Let's skip all the thank you. Let's skip all the nonsense. Go straight into a stall. We'll go power on first. 20 degrees should be more than enough. We'll try and keep it static and docile while we stall. A little bit of a winged up, nothing too big of a deal. Go into recovery, pull through it. Real gentle. Next, thank you. Next, we'll do a power off stall with a rudder kick. Let's get turned back towards the airport. Coming in through, I'm actually gonna get rid of you because I don't need you anymore. Alright, power off stall, here we go. And we'll try and throw the airplane into a spin as well. She's just so docile. Okay, let's get a little more aggressive. Put in a notch of flaps there. Oh, we're covered like no one's business. Yeah, this is an aero bat, even if it's not rated. For sure. Oh, don't hit the, is that a sandhill crane down there? Yeah, this thing's rock solid. I'm sure there are situations where you can get into a sticky situation, but for your average flying situations, it'll be fine. All right, coming back in for a short field landing. Gonna have to have a good amount of power on just because of how strong the winds are today. Oh, almost had a prop strike. There we go. All right, let's go take a look at the Tricycle Gear 150 and its takeoff and landing characteristics. I think we'll do we'll change locations. Somewhere with a little bit less aggressive wind. Be back with the conventional 152 in just a minute. Alright, so here we are at Telluride, and with it being higher altitude, you'll notice I've got my mixture about halfway rolled out. Also, look at this paint job. That's pretty cool, huh? Anyway, with the conventional landing gear, or tricycle rather, configuration this time round, but what I was saying about the mixture before is if I roll out or push the mixture into full, because we're at altitude, you'll actually flood the engine just due to the excess of fuel. See, so it's getting too much fuel right now. So I got to roll that mixture back out, add some carb heat. Didn't like that. We're actually warmer here than we were in Buffalo, so I don't need a whole lot of carpet. I don't understand how there's all this snow on the ground. So we'll push carpet in a good ways. We still want that cabin heat, though. Let's shut our window. We actually could have rolled. Got it. And let's go fly. We are running with FS Realistic, so those extra shakes and bumps and sounds are being added by FS Realistic, but I did want to give you guys the chance to hear the aircraft as defaults before. So we'll continue outbound here for a little bit, gain some altitude under the wings, and then do those same stall tests and a full stop landing just like we did before. Alright, with a good chunk of altitude between us and the ground, there's a nice valley down here, so we've got good recovery distance if you ignore those mountains. Let's check out the stall characteristics of the tricycle landing here. I'm guessing it's going to be very similar, if not full-on identical to the tail dragger, but take a little look-see here. Alright, there's a little wing dip. And we'll go for the full out aggressive Oh, look at that water discharge shoot under the runway. That's awesome. I love seeing stuff like that. Alright, power coming off, nose coming up. Let's go for the all-out aggressive. Just fell back down. Alright, let's see if we can make this guy spin here. At the 90. Hard over on the rudder. It's just such a positive aircraft. That's what you get with an anhedral wing. They're just naturally want to return to level flight. Can't get it to roll though. Oh, we upset our gyro. It just doesn't care. Our pilot was terrified, though. Sucks to be him. Alright, let's set up for a full stop. Your Flight Sim Realistic adding that flaps drag. This is the default profile for Flight Sim Realistic. I haven't done any modifications, so you might hear, like, I don't know, airliner sounds or like a speed brake deployment or something. Hey, this gives us a chance to use those sunshades. Oh, look at that. Our eyes are shielded. Can I click you, Mr. Bell? I cannot. Alright, well, we tried. Yeah, no, non-clickable. Leave the sunshades down for now. I've lost the field. My sunshade shenanigans. There it is. God, we're a ways off, aren't we? It's expecting us to be, like, on top of it at this point. I love that added shake and shudder from Flight Sim Realistic. Coming in on the final runway 27. Power cut. And we'll flutter on down to the touchdown zone. Very nice. So that is the JPG Logistics Cessna 152. Hope you guys enjoyed checking it out with me. Hello, nose wheel. Can we return to the runway, please? I would like to return to the runway, please. Yeah, the JPG Logistics 152, definitely a must pick up. Free on FS.to. If you guys like GA flying and are looking for a more comprehensive, more in-depth, more realistic, more immersive option, this is going to be the airplane for you. And that will do it for this video. So thank you guys very much for watching. I will see you in the next one. And as always, take it easy.